Hello everyone, we will continue learning alternating current circuits, and now we are going to look at capacitors in alternating current circuits. The learning objective for today's lesson is you will be able to describe the process occurring in AC circuits containing capacitors briefly. So what's a capacitor? This is a typical capacitor, and this is its symbol. And capacitors are generally used to store electrical energy. When a capacitor is connected to a DC source, then we are going to look at what happens if we connect a capacitor to alternating current source. So as you see, when this switch is on, then the current is going to start flow onto the plates of the capacitor, and then as the current accumulate on the plates, and the current is going to decrease. It's going to be an exponential function. Why it is decreasing? Why? Because as the current is approaching, as the current is accumulating on the plates, more charges are moving on the plates. As more charges are on the plate, they are going to repel the incoming electrons or charges, and then after some times, when this is completely charged, the current is going to drop to zero, and the voltage here is depending on the current on the plates. We know that Q is equal to CV, and or the voltage on the plates of the capacitor equal to Q over C. So they are directly proportion. As the amount of charges increases on the plates, the voltage is also going to increase, and then it will stay, it will not change with time for after some time. Okay, let's look at if the current flowing to the capacitor and the voltage across the capacitor are in phase or not. I mean, if they become maximum, minimum, zero at the same time or not. First, I'm going to use a mathematical derivation to show if there is a phase difference between them or not. Then I'm going to physically explain without mathematics. I'm going to explain the phase difference between the two. So we know that Q is equal to CV, and also we know that the current is equal to dQ over dt. Okay, so instead of Q, I'm going to write CV. C is a constant. Let me write it here. C times D over dt, and V is equal to V of the source. It will be epsilon 0 double Vt. Epsilon 0 cosine double Vt. Okay, so if we take the derivative of this function, then we are going to get that current is going to be equal to negative C times double V times cos epsilon 0 sine double Vt. And here this is the change of current with the time, and this is a sine function, and the change of the voltage is a cosine function. Let's change this one into the cosine function by making some mathematical tricks. We know that negative sine double Vt is equal to cosine double Vt plus pi over 2. Okay, let's write this one instead of sine double Vt. So current will be equal to C double V epsilon 0 cosine double Vt plus pi over 2. Okay, as you see here, the maximum value of the current will be equal to this cosine function can get a maximum value of 1. If this is 1, then this is going to be the maximum value. C double V epsilon 0 is the maximum value of the current. As you see, here is a function for the current, and this is the function for the voltage. So as you see, here is this cosine function, this is also cosine function, and the only difference between them, actually one of the difference between them is pi over 2. As you see, the current becomes maximum pi over 2 degrees before the voltage becomes maximum. So in this case, we say they are not in phase, and the current is 90 degrees ahead of the voltage in a circuit which include a capacitor. So let's look at the change of the voltage and the current in the circuit. As you see, here is the green line. The green line shows the voltage, and this one shows the current. As you see, the current becomes maximum. It increases, and it becomes maximum. And then when it is maximum, the voltage is minimum, and then the voltage increases, then it becomes the maximum. So let's look at the time between them. So this difference is T over 4. No. Okay, 1/4 of a period. There is a time difference between them. First, the current becomes maximum, and then the voltage becomes maximum. As I said, these are their functions. So if we draw the graphs of these two functions, we are going to get these two graphs, and from these two graphs, we see that the current is 1/4 period ahead of the voltage. Okay, so briefly we say that the current peaks 1/4 of a period before the voltage peaks. Okay, so let's now explain physically if there is a phase difference between them or not. So let's describe it here. Now, when the current starts flow to the place of the capacitor at the beginning, okay, this is the change of the current with the time. Okay, the current is 0 and then it becomes maximum, and then it is changing like this. So when the current starts at the beginning, there is a current which changes. There's a rate of change of current at the beginning. It has a very high current flowing into the place of the capacitor because there is no charges on the place of the capacitor, and then it will decrease with the time. And the voltage across the capacitor, we know that voltage is equal to Q over C. It is proportional to Q. As the amount of charges increases on the plates, the voltage also increases. Initially, there is no charge on the plate, so the voltage is 0. The voltage is going to increase with the time. But at the beginning, since there is, since there is no current, there is no charge on the plate, the rate of change of the current at the beginning is very high, and there's a maximum flow of the current to the plates, while initially the voltage across the plate is approximately 0. Why? Because there is no charge. So as the amount of charges increases, the current will decrease and the voltage will increase. As you see, they do not become maximum at the same time. First, current is maximum, flows to the plates, and then voltage becomes maximum. So, does a capacitor have a resistance? If we connect a capacitor to an alternating current source, and the capacitor itself is going to show some resistance to the flow of the current in the circuit. It is because of the repulsion of the negative charges. Why? Because when the current is moving toward the plates, for example, if the electrons are moving in this direction, it is opposite to the direction of the current. Assume now the electrons are moving to this plate. So as the electrons accumulate on the plate, they are going to repel new incoming electrons, and then they are going to repel each other. There is going to be some resistance. This resistance is formulated as 1 over WC. It is 1 over 2 pi FC. And Ohm's law is valid here also. The current is equal to V over R, and this is the resistance of the capacitor, and we call it capacitive reactance. So here is the Ohm's law for the capacitor in a circuit, in an alternating current circuit. Now, what is the change of the capacitive reactance and the resistance of the capacitor with the frequency of the source? So as you increase the frequency, this is the frequency, but this is the angular frequency. Anyway, as the angular frequency increases, this is going to decrease. As you see, they are inversely proportional. So as W increases, as the angular frequency increases, the capacitive reactance is going to decrease. So the reactance of the capacitor is going to be high at low frequencies. This is low frequency, and here it is high frequency. So at high frequencies, the capacitive reactance will be low, but at low frequencies, the capacitive reactance will be high. Okay, let's solve 3 problems related to this topic. The first one is calculate the reactance of 10 microfarad capacitor when the frequency is 50 Hertz, 500 Hertz, and 5000 Hertz. We know that capacitive reactance X is equal to 1 over 2 pi FC. So in A, then the XC will be equal to 1 over 2 pi. Frequency is 50 and 10 is the capacitor. It is 10 microfarad. It is going to be 10 times 10 to the negative 6. And if we calculate this value, we are going to get approximately 319 ohms. B, XC will be equal to, I'm going to change the frequency here to 500 and times 10 to the negative 6. And if we calculate, it will be equal to 32 ohms approximately. So finally, XC will be equal to 1 over 2 pi 5000 times 10 to the negative 6. So will be equal to approximately 3.2 ohms. As you see, as the frequency increases, angular frequency increases, it is increasing from 500 to 5000, and you see the capacitive reactance is decreasing. Next question, what is the capacitance of a capacitor whose reactance is 20 ohm at 60 hertz? So we know that Xc is equal to 1 over 2 pi Fc, and from here we can write that the Xc is given, the capacitive reactance is 20 ohms, and it's going to be equal to 1 over 2 pi, and frequency is 60 hertz times C. And if we rearrange this formula and calculate C, we are going to get approximately 130 microfarads. So the last question is, 15 microfarad capacitor is connected to an voltage source given by this equation. Here is our equation. So what is the reactance of the capacitor? To find the reactance of the capacitor, Xc is equal to 1 over 2 pi Fc. Now, as you see, we know the capacitance, but we don't know the frequency. That's why first we need to calculate the frequency. So the general formula for the voltage is epsilon 0 cosine Wt. So as you see, this 110 pi corresponds to the W. So we can write W is equal to 110 pi. And we know that it is 2 pi F is equal to 102 pi. And calculating for the frequency, we will get, actually we don't need to calculate the frequency here. Why? Because Xc is also equal to 1 over Wc. If we know W, then there is no problem. We don't need to calculate the frequency, sorry. What's is equal to 1 over, instead of W, I'm going to write 110 pi. C is 15 times 10 to the negative 6. So from here, if we do our calculations, it's going to be equal to 193 ohms is the capacitive reactance. So for B, write an expression for the current output of the source. We know that the current in the capacitor will be equal to V of the capacitor divided by Xc, and the voltage of the capacitor is changing like this, 180 volt cosine 110 pi t. Divided by Xc, we calculated 193. So if we divide these two, we will get approximately 0.93 cosine 110 pi t. Okay, thank you for listening. See you next time.